nutritional status of Nigerians, as well as combat the problem of nutrient deficiencies, especially micronutrient deficiencies, stunting, wasting, underweight, and overweight. To carry out this responsibility, provision was made for nutrition-specific interventions as core components of all policy documents in the health sector. Principally, we have the National Strategic Health Development Plan, the Maternal Newborn Child Adolescent and Elderly plus Nutrition Strategy, the National Strategic Plan of Action on Nutrition, to mention a few. These policies are being implemented in collaboration with relevant stakeholders at national, subnational level, including the 774 local government areas. However, despite the progress in recent interventions, Nigeria is still battling with triple burden of malnutrition. We have high indices of undernutrition, overweight, and micronutrient deficiencies. These deficiencies remain a major health and developmental issue in the country. In Nigeria, malnutrition, especially among the vulnerable, the under 5, causes underlying issues, and nearly half of the deaths of under 5 is caused by malnutrition. Because undernourished children are more likely to die from common childhood illnesses such as diarrhea, measles, pneumonia, malaria, HIV, and they are also at a greater risk of coming down with chronic diseases such as diabetes and heart diseases. Nigeria, in line with global statistics, has the second highest burden of stunted children in the world, with a prevalence rate of 37%. Similarly, in line with the NHS 2018, 11.6% of Nigerian children aged 6 to 59 months are wasted. 25.3% are underweight. 1.5% are overweight. An estimated 2 million children in Nigeria suffer from severe acute malnutrition. Unfortunately, only 2 out of every 10 on the 5 children in Nigeria that need treatment have access to this treatment. These high rates of malnutrition have a significant impact on the progress in health, education, and economic productivity. As much as 11% of Nigerian gross domestic product is estimated to be lost due to the effects of stunting of productivity in adulthood. Thus, distinguished senators, representatives, and honorable members of the House, addressing the problem of malnutrition in Nigeria is crucial for improving the well-being of children, of mothers, of adolescents, of every member of the family. What do we want from the legislators? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, available evidence shows that intentional investment in comprehensive nutrition services across Nigeria has quite a lot of benefits, such as it will save up to $22 million in health treatment costs related to child malnutrition. If we intentionally invest in nutrition intervention, we will be able to prevent over 10 million cases of childhood diarrhea and pneumonia in Nigeria. If we, again, I say, intentionally invest in nutrition interventions, we will be able to prevent about 220,000 child deaths annually in Nigeria. And we will be able to reduce families' out-of-pocket expenditures on treatment. Our dear legislators, specifically, we want you to commit to adopt, implement, enforce, and monitor the following. 1. The maternity protection legislation based on the 2000 International Labour Organization Maternity Protection Convention and recommendation providing support to all categories of women in the workplace, including those in the informal sector, to follow recommended infant and young child feeding practices. We want you to adopt, monitor, and ensure that there is legislation of international code of marketing of breast milk substitute and all relevant subsequent World Health Assembly resolutions. We want you to ensure pro-nutrition budgetary allocation to key ministries and departments responsible for the delivery of nutrition-specific and sensitive programs by ensuring timely release of adequate funds for nutrition programs, by monitoring the fund that is released, by making sure that monies are properly expended. We want you to commit to undertake scheduled full-fledged annual debates on the status of nutrition in your various constituencies. We also want you to ensure institutionalization of data collection tools and interpretation mechanisms to serve as an inclusive and transparent process for planning. We want you to commit yourself and your family members, your wives, your children, your uncles, your aunties, your parents, everyone in your family. We want them to be our champions for nutrition for children and family, especially for those that are most at risk. We want you to provide platforms to draw attention using current evidence and data to the unacceptably high rates of malnutrition that continue to afflict your constituencies. We want you to hold seminars with your constituencies, with decision makers, to educate them on the importance of nutrition and demand for increased investment in nutrition in Nigeria. Distinguished representatives of our senators and honorable members, the special advisor, we want to request that you should view nutrition as a foundation for implementing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And I'd like to conclude by saying investment in nutrition offers one of the highest financial returns of all developmental interventions. You will get a return of $16 for every dollar that is invested in nutrition. This is based on evidence. I want to say the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare identified with the civil society setting up nutrition in Nigeria. We congratulate you for putting together this one-day breakfast meeting. We assure you of the continued collaboration between the ministry and CS-SUNN. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Madam. That was very, very detailed. And I'm sure I want us to actually be very confident because this meeting it's going to still give us the desired outcomes. You see, why it is important when you invite senators to a meeting, you also invite the clerk of the house. Because the clerks have, what we all know as institutional members. And I know that as technical as they are going to take back the substance of this meeting to the honorable lawmakers. Let me call on Dr. Osita Obongo, the country manager of Nutrition International, to come and give a goodwill message on behalf of the partners.
Good morning, His Excellency, Mr. President, here elected by Dr. Kila, all the members of the National Assembly members, here present, other Minister of Health and other ministries here present, leaders of government, our partners, here again, partners who are here, again, Alakan Tribe, HKI, and the CS-SUNN, and everyone that I know have seen. I'm honored to speak on your behalf. I want to use the opportunity to thank CS-SUNN for this gathering in collaboration with the Minister of Health, Minister of Health and Economic Planning, for thinking out how we were able to navigate this process of getting nutrition on the right track. As partners, we are aware of the burden of malnutrition in Nigeria and the effort of government to address this. I want to thank our able Director for Nutrition, Minister of Health and Social Welfare, and just been able to elaborate all the issues we are here to address, and for making the required requests to the National Assembly, which is very critical if we want to address nutrition issues in the country. But let me also say that in the past weeks, we've seen a lot of activities in the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, where efforts have been made to bring issues around nutrition to the fore. Similarly, the Nutrition Department at Federal Minister of Economic Planning has also been doing the same. What does that mean? Last 2 weeks, we had the government of Nigeria come on board to flag off the implementation of IFA to multiple micronutrient supplementation, which is a very key component of our interventions. We have partners who have committed to this intervention in Nigeria, and this is a very good milestone for us to transition, showing that government have acknowledged the burden of malnutrition among pregnant women, adolescents, and children, even of our newborn, and the consequences of that over time. Now, with this happening, it shows that we are on a trajectory toward achieving a country where every woman will not be left behind. We also know that the government of Nigeria is working with other partners to ensure that we have affordable, nutritious food in our Food Fortification Alliance programs, which is championed by GAIN. And the same way, we also are aware that in Nigeria, we have our biannual maternal and child health week, where we provide supplementation for children with vitamin A. These are components of activities that have been supported by partners in the country. Last year again, the government pushed for a workplace where every woman had access to breastfeeding. And that's also to show the government has been driving this. And we as partners, our effort is to support the work of government. I want to assure you that the partners that are here present are committed to ensuring that the support by the government is one that will provide a lasting and sustainable process of engagement that will give the result that the government will want to see, which is improved nutrition among our children, among our pregnant women, and among our adolescents. Let me also use the opportunity to request for government to look into adult nutrition. It's an area we have not paid attention to. And we find out that in the last survey that high rate of anemia among our adolescent girls. So we are requesting that government should pay attention in ensuring we provide access to our young adults, pre-married girls, to have access to weekly iron and folic acid supplementation, which will help to address issues around anemia in adolescents. With this, we are able to ensure that we have preconception solutions to anemia in pregnancy. With this, I want to thank CS-SUNN and all the partners here present for this effort, and to let you know that partners are always available to support. As an army of government, we are here to provide, with the every department, we are here to provide all that we could, both technically and in capacity building, and in every aspect where will be required to ensure that social programming in Nigeria are brought to the ultimate goals. Thank you.
That's a very strong thing coming from the partners. We always had their back in Nigeria here. Collaboration between the development partners and the Nigerian government has been what has actually strengthened and keeps strengthening the Nigerian nutritional landscape. And now we are going to call on the representative of the senators and the House of Representatives, Salman A. Salman, to come up to the podium, sir, and give us your goodwill message.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also distinguished representative who is the chairman of the Advocacy and but because the slot was delayed, I had to put this step in. So I must apologize. I thank Dr. Tafida, the Office of the Special Advisor to the Senate Legislators on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organizations, in collaboration with civil societies giving up nutrition for organizing these very well programs. I assure you, on behalf of the senators, representative of the senators, members of whatever like we did here, we rest assured that we feed it back to our spouse, and we rest assured that to use to develop and implement strategies in terms of tourism and nutrition for the entire Nigeria. This program cannot come at a better time, and I congratulate you for this program, and we rest assured that we are partners together in this to ensure that we achieve the purpose of this program. Thank you so much.
For record purposes, I know that the stakeholders that are giving us goodwill messages, they have touched on the objectives of this meeting. And but we have them documented. The three main objectives of the meeting. Can I have it projected on the slide? Because it's good for us to actually have a direction on what we are here to achieve today. From the opening remarks, we already have a good level of commitment from the National Assembly We already have commitments from the government, and we have commitments from even the development partners. The essence of convening this meeting today is first and foremost, we need to strengthen the understanding of the legislators on the importance of nutrition and what roles that they can play in their constituencies. Because we are very convinced that, when you have a legislator focusing on his or her constituency, whatever message that we have to drive gets to the grassroots faster. And during the 8th assembly, that was when we were lucky to have the 1% consolidated form. And so based on that the primary healthcare centers that we have across Nigeria have been very, very functional. That was the efforts of the legislators. And part of what we want to ask for and achieve in this meeting today is to see how we also bring it to their knowledge that we have scarcity of nutritional commodities in most of these primary healthcare centers across Nigeria. They are really clear, ready to use therapeutic food, the multiple micronutrient supplements. There's just one platform that we can get to the people at the grassroots, and that is the primary healthcare centers. And the second objective we have here is to secure the commitment of the lawmakers on the availability of this nutritional commodity. How do we get them to see the nutritional needs of their people and possibly even mainstream it into their constituency projects? That is part of why we are gathered here today. And I'm sure that will happen when they have really had a very good understanding of what roles that they can play. Who they think the good news message from Federal Ministry of Health itemize a lot of activities, very cost-effective, high-impact activities that the legislators can do as their constituency levels to strengthen the Nigerian nutrition landscape. And in the course of the meeting, we are going to be hearing a lot about the Child Nutrition Fund, a platform that is available across the 36 states of the Federation. And most of the governors don't even know about it. We want to leverage on the influence of these lawmakers, very passionate about nutrition and food security. We want to leverage on their network and their influence on the governors in their geopolitical zones to leverage on this Child Nutrition Fund. Because when they access this money can be used to procure nutritional commodities that can be available right at the primary healthcare centers. So these are the three major objectives of this meeting. And on that note, I will call on Deputy Director of Nutrition, Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. And I want us to know, well, for the class of the House and for our honorable members, that Ministry for Budget and National Planning, they are the coordinating ministry for nutrition in Nigeria. And they are the ones that also support the National Council on Nutrition to ensure that whatsoever decision that is being taken in the nutrition landscape is well coordinated between the partners and the government agencies. Mrs. Chito Nelson, I welcome you to the podium to come and give us an overview of the Nigerian nutrition situation. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Please permit me to start already established protocols. And before my presentation will come up, I want to say and thank the representatives of the legislators that are here to say that we had expected seeing our legislators, meeting with them, because this would have been a nice opportunity. But since we are not seeing them, we are coming to the house to meet you people. So, for Dr. Frida, we are going to facilitate guys. If they are touching us, we will get to them. Because it should seem as if we are here talking to ourselves. And this presentation I'll be making, previous speakers, they said things around this situation we are here in. We come from villages. We come from, even not, we're not coming from villages. When you go streets, you know that things are really bad. And the issue of funding for nutrition without money, within money, since we don't have funds to work, APAs, all the sectors, government has, we will not be doing anything. We are here courtesy of CS-SUNN, without partners, government, they are trying their best, but it's not enough. And we thought, now that we have the legislators around us, they were going to push, but we'll still push. We are coming there to meet with them since we don't have time for us to come here, and that is the message. And when we spoke, we alluded to some of these issues as situations is bad as a country, and we don't have funds to work. We need a lot of support. We need a lot of support from the legislators. Because we know that the three arms of government, they are quite independent, and it's the legislative responsibility to push the executive to do their responsibilities. So I'll go through this briefly, knowing that most of these issues have been handled by previous speakers, so that we don't have less time. We call this breakfast meeting, but it has turned out to be just a regular workshop or meeting time. So thank you. So the first situation in Nigeria, next slide. So when you look at this, 149 million children, this is as 2020, 149 million children under the age of 5 are counted across the world. And when you look at the map of Nigeria right there, you see Africa, you see Nigeria. You look at this code here. You see from 40 to 50, and the very light blue that we have in the southern part of Nigeria, the whole of the upper part of that Nigerian map, you can see that a lot is happening there, and like the number 5 is attributed to malnutrition. No child will just die like this and they say something small, something very likely happening to the child. You see that this child, the mother loses and the child. There's no reserve. The child's body cannot fight for anything. As adults, you know, when you are weak and something happens, and that's why most of us we are on supplements. But these children, they're just there, they're surviving. And the disparities are there. Even within these areas that are blue, there are some areas that should have been regulated. But because of when you take average, normalizes things. Next slide. Next slide. It's not moving.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. As of 2022, this is the statistics. Slightly came down to 148 million. And here we are recording Nigeria. We are the second highest. We are next to India. And it's not a good statistics for us. And nobody is happy about this. And I know the legislators
the executives, nobody is happy. Next slide. 45 million children under the age of 5 are wasted, and we know when the child is wasted, that child is off for just like that. She might be so tall, but by the time you take the weight, the child will not be, just fall like that, with no weight. And when the child is 100, we expected that for that child's age, that child would have been taller, but because of chronic malnutrition, you see that child down there. In terms of physical energy, in terms of everything, that child is disadvantaged. Next slide. In 2021, over 5 million children died before their 5th birthday. Like we said, malnutrition contributes to 50%. 1 in 13 children, 1 in 13 infants dies in Nigeria, and 1 in 8 under 5 dies in Nigeria. So for every child, if you bring out 13 children under 1 of them will not make it to 5, and when we bring those under 5, 1 and 8 will not make it. Next slide. We know that this global shock, the war going on in Ukraine, COVID shook us as if we are trying to stabilize after COVID. Then this war started. Hampering fertilizer supply, hampering supplies that will come then, the wheat that would have been coming from Russia, everything is held up. Because what is happening in the Mediterranean Sea now, in the Red Sea, nothing is coming. That a loaf of bread is now 1,005. A loaf of bread is 1,005. I don't know what the next, after the next one, I don't know what the statistics will be, but things are really bad. I stopped by to buy bread when they told me 1,005. I said, what? I'm not stopping again. This 1,005 will get at least a small tuber of yam. But will the children be eating yam every day? They will not. So something needs to be done. Next slide. 7% of Nigerian children are stunted, according to the last national debate. 7% are wasted, that is acute malnutrition. Something does happen, and this guy, when you look at anemia, 58% of women are anemic, and that determines the survival when they go through the process of pregnancy. Because they are anemic, their blood levels are low, and making survival difficult. And that is why we have high maternal morbidity and mortality. And in spite of this, the women, when you are talking about family planning, it enters here and comes out from here. They keep on going through this process of giving birth year in, year out, and depleting their stocks, resulting in us equally rising high as far as maternal mortality is concerned. And our children are not left out. 68% of our children are anemic. And why are they anemic? The resources of protein, they are not getting it. The iron they need to build blood, they are not getting it. What are these sources? They are the costly foods. Like here we have opportunity, you can eat if you want to eat. But there are children that year in, year out, they not tested meat. And then it calls for concern and something that when we have opportunity, we should try to help. And that help will come from you, because for this position, Dr. Kafida, you are in posterity, humanity, you assess what you are able to do. I'm telling you to assess what you are able to use this position God has given you to do. Wasting is something associated with increased mortality, but you know we have low cost, high impact institutional interventions. Like when Dr. from NI, Dr. Sita was talking about, he said we want to change from giving iron and folate, just iron and folate to pregnant women, to giving them multiple multivitamin, because that one is richer. The only thing that it costs more. Because it's richer and costs more. To save the lives of these children, of mothers, pregnant women, the country can go a step further to provide MMS. So that instead of taking just iron and folate, this woman will take MMS that contain iron, folate, and other minerals and multivitamins. When you see where the studies have been done on MMS, the results, the babies are better, they develop better, they don't have stillbirths. Just 180 tablets that a woman will take, and it makes a lot of difference. Brain development, a lot happens when we use the right interventions. Next slide. 23.1% of my children are put in breast within 1 month, within 1 hour of birth, and we're encouraging that as soon as babies are born, they should be put to the breast. No water, and that's why we wanted 0 water and milk. So, no water for the baby, because the breast milk has a lot of water and every nutrient that the child needs. So within our families, ensure that nothing else except breast milk is given to the baby. 94.4% are exclusively breastfed. We advocate that children should be breastfed for the first 6 months of life, no water, nothing. 11.4% of our breastfed children receive minimum acceptable diet. What is this acceptable diet? Diet that contains from vegetable, you give vegetable, you give carbohydrate, you give fruit, everything, small. People will wonder how will the child eat. A mother should be taught how to make cuties, for example, carrots, or to cook vegetable to the level that the child should be able to eat. Then the last one is 50%, that's what we'll be thinking about. Business slide. So this is the statistics of something rates in Nigeria from Anambra year to the last year that is scaling, and the red is the national average of 37% that we're talking about. You can see how it planted up there and what needs to be done. It's not that when you come to Anambra, there are a lot of stunted children in Anambra. And with the current situation now, by the time the NDHS 2023 is ongoing, by the time the result comes, God save us so it doesn't get worse. But this is the situation as at 2023, and we're using it as a gold standard. And then you can see that it's only about 7 states are zeroing towards at least getting it less than 20%. But we know that if the country is determined, we should actually bring this thing down. If you consider that it is important and make the right investments, we're going to bring this country rate down. Next slide. Next. So, We are looking at productivity and human capital index score. I can see where Nigeria is. Look at this. Look at the map, the best axis and the y axis. Look at 0.3, and we in Nigeria, we are 36%. So a child born in Nigeria will only be 36% as productive in his or her lifetime as they could have been if they enjoyed complete education and good health. Probability of surviving to age 5. So 88 out of 100 children born in Nigeria survive to age 5. That is why I say 1 in 8. Adult survival rates across Nigeria, 65% of 50 years old will survive until age 60. And when we know that when you get to Japan, you see even couples at 100. You know, this 16, 66, this age 16 is if you are lucky, and some people don't live up to that. And when you look at them, you can see them touring there, see their human capital index almost close to 7.5. And look at us, 3.36%. Next slide. So here we are looking at the concept of the first 1,000 days, and this first 1,000 days looks at the child development from the day utilization is 2 years. So the gestational period of 280 days, another 1 year of 360 days, 366 days, another 366 days, maybe into 2 years. That is why we have 1,000 days. This 1,000 days is very critical in the development of the child, especially the brain development, the cognitive development of this child, and every other thing that happens. Once a child is deprived at this age, the damages to the brain are irreversible. And when you look at the scan that has been done for a healthy child, this one by the side, the other one is this for the healthy child, well-cared child, well-stimulated. Look at the child without stunted brain development, the other one and the other side. You can see that the branching, there are gaps in between. What does that indicate? It indicates poor developmental challenges that this child is likely to have. It sets a long-term foundation for human capital development, and that is why nutrition is the Ministry of Planning. We also want to lay the foundation. Nutrition is the basis for human capital development, because people will wonder, what is nutrition doing in the Federal Ministry of Planning and Economic Planning? This is part of the reason, and because of its importance, it's a pillar in the National Development Plan and the 2050 agenda. And Nigeria get it right. We cannot see the result at this stage, but in future, the result will show. And adequate nutrition, early stimulation, like we are saying, when we see a child, so as a child, it's stimulating the child, it has effect in the brain of the child, and with breast milk, which is a complete meal, this child is well developed. It's widely recognized that good nutrition is the most important investment in human capital. So let us invest wisely and invest in the nutrition of our children. Next slide. This has been done, this has been repeated severally, and showing us yields, what we are likely to gain, what we are likely to lose if we are not investing in nutrition. All forms of malnutrition cost the global economy at an estimated $3.5 trillion per year, or $500 per individual. So, it's there for us. What are we doing to revise this situation? And when the director from health was talking, $1 spent on nutrition, we get about 16% there in economic growth. Next slide. Next. So what are the causes of this malnutrition? This is the conceptual framework that was developed in 1990 by UNICEF and modified for easier understanding and for simplicity, and we see governance. At the basis of everything is the governance, and that's why we are calling the government, we are calling legislators. Good governance is what we need for us to have good nutrition, optimal nutrition for everybody, and good health. When we don't have getting right at that level, government providing jobs for us, we are ready to work. And when we work, we get money. And when we get money, we should be able to feed our children. But when there's no work, we know that government has failed us. So good governance is the basis for everything. And when there's good governance, there's education, people go to school, they're able to get the food, they will eat, there's water, health services are there, that when I'm sick, when the child is sick, the mother should move. Most times, mothers don't move because they don't have the wherewithal to take the child to the next level. And the practices, the educational level of the mother will determine how well this mother is eager to take care of her child. If she's not educated, she might get a job, she'll be working, she'll have money. She will know that some things are very urgent, that if she sees a sign in her child, she will move immediately. She should be able to take decisions to move and not to wait for somebody to say, take this child to the hospital. So these are the layers. When there's the underlying determinants of nutrition, we have the ingredients, good diet. And when you have good diet, good care, the child is in a clean environment, the mother is cooking the right food, diversified meal. You can see the maternal and child nutrition. The child is growing well physically, cognitively, and performance in school is there. Attendance in school is there. So this is just a simplified diagram showing the multidimensional causes of nutrition. And that is why every sector should be part of it. If the mother should have food and there's no clean water to clean this food, what the vegetables to cook, we do not want it until when everything is there for us. The mother is protected, the father is protected, we have security, we have good water, we have education. Life would have been very sweet. Next slide. We've been saying this. Nutrition is linked to SDGs. There's no SDG goal that does not have some element of nutrition. No. And then we need to 2030 just by the corner. And how are we there? Is there any hope for Nigeria making some of these goals? And is there any hope they're going to meet some of these goals? But we know with stronger and more sustainable environments, communities and technologies, SDGs 6, 7, 8, 11 to 17, improve food security and nutrition will show. Where there's security, people are free to go to farm, they are sure. And that's when they go there, they come back. Climate actions are happening, and luckily we have ecosystems, sustainable, issues around sustainability, resilience, and everything we are doing to modify and redefine our food systems to make it more sustainable for everyone of us so that we eat quality meals. Next slide. And this looks at a variety of nutrition, not one sector alone, and that's why we are working with agri. Social protection is very key to reduce our poverty. The health system is there. Trade and fiscal policies, and this is one area that we would like the legislators to help us. And companies that are making related to their issues, the taxes, they pay a lot of taxes on items they import. All these fiscal policy issues, some of these issues should be addressed at the legislative level. We know that water sanitation is very important. Environment is key. How are we impacting on the environment? Climate change is there. There's nothing we can do about it, but we try to mitigate. We should try to mitigate the effect of climate change. So that is every sector sample here is there for us to achieve optimal nutrition. Next slide. We have we don't like documents. We have beautiful documents to produce. If you say we produce, we need in this room, we'll give it to you by the end of the day. And these are some of the documents we have on ground to help us drive policies and programs in nutrition. Next slide. These are countries that are making progress, and they are in Africa. You can see Senegal, Ghana, Rwanda. You can see us in red. You can see Senegal in blue. Every country is making efforts to change the landscape. This is in Africa. We have countries like Indonesia. They've done well. Indonesia, they bring that agenda and they pursue it and ensure that they have results. Next slide. So in Peru, their president came up with 5x5 goal to reduce stunting in that country. And by this, they provided those 5 things. There was mass media campaign, they did cash transfer, they did a lot of things, improve water, improve sanitation. Every hand was brought from there, and they were able to achieve results. Same thing with Indonesia, and that is what we want. Peru, their story has changed. Because they are one of the worst countries in South America, and they were not doing well, but now they've improved a lot, and the stunting rate has been improved. So these are some of the beautiful stories. If you go online, you see what they did and how they were able to achieve this, and reduce their stunting rates. Next slide. This is the digital statistics report. Malnutrition has high economic health costs, an estimated return of $16.8 for every $1 spent. Nigeria's current annual loss of 1.5 billion GDP from micronutrient deficiencies can be stemmed through dedicated attention to nutrition. Nigeria will gain over $22 to $29 billion over the period between 2035 through 2060 by achieving the targets set by the World Health Assembly for a 40% reduction in stunting by 2025. This is 2024. Do we have any hope of doing this? I don't know, but God will help us, and our legislators are here to help us. And like we say, we are coming there that house there. We visit two people there. So thank you.
Please let's give her a round of applause again. Come on. Very detailed presentation. Thank you very much, ma'am. We've always done justice to this overview, and I like the part of actually putting it straightforward that we are bringing the battle to your doorstep, sir. We are coming. So since we've not seen our senators today, or we've just seen a few, we are coming there, and I think they will be able to also host us well.
Wait.
We've already had a lot on this overview of Nigeria's judicial situation. And this is what this meeting seeks to achieve. And let me tell us this. In meetings where we have attended, where we've actually had with legislators, especially those from the states, the issue of nutrition, the stories about the nutrition situation in the country, the statistics, the pictures that they see, make them lose sleep. And what it tells me is that this kind of information rarely comes to their table. You know, they are very busy. Too many things around, governance, too many things. So there's this awareness gap that nutrition is a very important developmental issue. And when they hear about nutrition, I see the clerks of the house taking notes. I see the officers from the Office of the Senate President, they are here, like DSS, but they are taking notes. You wouldn't know that they are here, but they are here. Taking notes. That shows that there is something that is piquing their interest. And that's why I'm assuring us that this meeting is going to achieve the desired result. It is a problem. It's a huge challenge. And if we can get the lawmakers to actually run with this vision, I'm sure the policies that we have done at the federal level will eventually be translated into results that we can actually see at the grassroots. Thank you once again for the detailed presentation. I want to call on Mrs. Leonard, Chief Nutrition Officer from UNICEF, to make this very important presentation on child nutrition funding. She is the nutrition specialist. She has been in this country for some time, and she has always done justice to this cause. So welcome. You have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. You have heard a lot from the previous speakers, particularly our two fabulous directors from Budget and Planning and the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare on the status of Nigeria. So I will not labor that point, but people also call me an optimist. So I see, yes, the glass is half full, half empty. We also have an opportunity to make a change in Nigeria, and how are we going to do it? When we talk about nutrition, everybody talks in investing, and where is the money going to come from? So I have the honor today to talk about an investment opportunity, and I'll start by saying that with nutrition, we have to remember the tagline. Yes, we need more money for nutrition, but we also need more nutrition for the money that is out there. So please keep that in mind. Next slide, please. So you heard, just go slow. Okay. So you heard Mrs. Nelson just now speak and tell us that Nigeria is ranked #1 in Africa and second in the world after my home country of India in terms of the number of children who are malnourished. If we break this down in terms of children, okay? There are about 35 million children, an estimated 35 to 40 million children under 5 in the country, okay? Of which approximately 12 million are stunted. That's a huge number. We have about 9 million who are wasted. So when we use the word stunting, Mrs. Nelson explained, stunting is when children are short for their age. Wasting is when they're too thin for their height. And last but not the least, she also spoke about anemia, saying 68% of our children are anemic. So if at any point in time we calculated out of the 35 to 40 million children, we have, I would say, 24 to 27 million children who are not growing well. The Vice President talks about human capital, he talks about grey matter. He always says we are the giant of Africa, but we are a sleeping giant in Nigeria. And if we want to make a difference, we have to invest in this future generation. That is the first 1,000 days of life. Let's look at the next slide. So if we look at what is happening in Nigeria, we're seeing that year on year, the rate of stunting is only declining by 1.4% points. In most other countries, it's declining by 2 or 3% points. You saw the graph that Mrs. Nelson showed about how Vietnam is doing and how other countries, like even Senegal, are doing. But in Nigeria, it's 1% point. This change would happen even if we did nothing. Because just people are better, diseases are controlled, people are living longer. But it is our collective responsibility to do something and change this from 1.4% to a higher rate. Next slide. We also know from the recent country harmonization analysis done in 26 states plus FCT that there are about 17 million people every day in the country who do not know where the next meal is coming from. 17 million. And these are people who are living in chronic or acute food insecurity. We cannot afford that. And most of these, as the previous speaker said, are children. They are the most vulnerable. Next slide, please. So if we look at children, what do we see? Out of every 3 children that we see in Nigeria, out of every 3, 2 children are of childhood poverty. That is, they're not getting the diverse foods, the breast milk. So forget the other foods, they're not even benefiting from exclusive feeding. So that is the current status of affairs in our country. And again, as I said, everybody in this room, even talking many times to the same people, we can make a difference. And you as legislators, special advisors, have a difference. Next slide, please. So this shows us, and this is what Mrs. Nelson asked us in her presentation, are we on track? The Sustainable Development Goals have to be achieved by 2030. We are at a time in 2024, if we take action now, 24, 25, and 26, we can change that story. You see there, out of the 6 targets, we are red on 4, 1 we don't have data, and we green only on 1. However, it is my sincere belief that actually if we double our efforts, we can change all those dots to green in the next 2 years. And that is the opportunity we have today, sitting here today at the beginning of 2024. It's these 12 months and the next 12 months that will make the biggest difference. So you have the power to change. Next slide, please. So the Child Nutrition Fund, as I said, is a unique opportunity being provided to the federal government as well as to each state in the country. It is a financing match mechanism that enables the government to double its investment in nutrition. It was initiated in 2020 with a focus on treating children who are malnourished, where we advocated and said that, by the time a child is malnourished, you treat them, the damage is done. So help us to use this fund to prevent children from getting malnourished. In the past, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare already benefited, and we know that the new minister is already committed to releasing and an amount to use this match fund for the future. But that will not be sufficient. While the federal ministry is doing its task, we need every state to put in resources to change the narrative. Next slide, please. So, all the questions are good? Okay. So there are certain commodities that are there in the Child Nutrition Fund. Can you click? The first is for pregnant and lactating women, and this is multiple micronutrient supplements or multiple vitamins. This helps pregnant women be healthy. Dr. Osita spoke about it, and this is critical. Today, only 1 out of every 3 pregnant women gets this supplement. But we need more, we need 70–80% of pregnant women and breastfeeding women to get this supplement. Next slide, please. Similarly, we need pregnant women to be eating better. We could give them what are called balanced energy supplements so that they grow healthy and their children are born healthy. Next slide, please. We also have an amazing new commodity called small quantity lipid nutrient supplements. This is given to children 6 to 23 months old, and this is given with the diet. So if a child is eating fufu or poundo or soup, this can be added to the child's diet, and it gives the child a real boost. It has an impact on stunting, wasting, anemia, and mortality. So it has 4 benefits for 1 sachet that's given. Next, please. Vitamin A. This is extremely important. This prevents children from dying. In Nigeria, every year, UNICEF brings in, along with partners in the group, we have NI here, we have Vitamin Angels, we have Helen. We bring in these commodities free of cost to the government. We rely on the government to make sure these reach children. And I have to congratulate the government for results in 2023. 34 million children last year were reached with 2 doses of vitamin A. It was amazing. It's the first time, and it was fantastic. So we need to keep that up. The last is ready-to-use therapeutic foods, which is used to treat children. So once a child is malnourished, you can use this to enable the child to recover. Now, one thing I'll point out, the MMS, balanced energy, the Nutri-Butter, the vitamin A, they don't cost much at all. RUTF costs a lot. And now, of course, with the devaluation of the Naira, we're doing new cost estimates. The cluster we used to say it costs 5,000 Naira to prevent a child from being malnourished. It costs 55,000 Naira to treat a child who's malnourished. So what would you prefer? 5,000, right? And that way you're preventing all the damage. Next slide, please. So what is the process to access the Child Nutrition Fund? The first is we need a request in the form of a letter of approval from the appropriate authority in the state or the federal level that they would like to invest in the match fund. We then draft an MOU and an application, and that is filled out by both parties. Once that is done, both parties review the documents, and then you can sign the MOU and sign the application. Next slide, please. Based on that, UNICEF helps with the procurement. So we confirm the cost estimates, we put in the match, we confirm the orders when we procure. And once that is done, the commodities of choice, are delivered to the states to ensure that mothers and babies are healthy. Now, this whole process, unfortunately, and we're trying to shorten it, does take about 5 to 6 months. So my request is, let's start early, because if it's going to take us 5 to 6 months from start to finish, we need to start now if we want the commodities in 2024. Otherwise, we will go to 2025. So it's not that today I meet somebody and say, okay, let's put in the money. It does take time. We've done it very fast in some states, but that is when the state has acted very quickly. Otherwise, there are a lot of delays at the beginning. Next slide. So if we look at what the status is, that's the map of Nigeria today. Sadly, can you click just one click? We have sent letters to all the governors of 36 plus FCT informing them of this opportunity. We did this in the last quarter of 2023 because we know states develop their annual work plans and budgets at that time. But only 4 states actually have released some money, with 2 states committing and soon to release money. So only 6 out of the 36 states are leveraging this opportunity, and it would be a wasted opportunity if we didn't utilize this. Next slide. Sorry. So those are the 4 states, and it's quite a good sum of money. We know, however, that Constituency, Borno, the Federal Ministry of Health are all in the pipeline and will be releasing resources quite soon. Next slide. But we need the remaining states to urgently draw on this opportunity. So my request to you is to please speak about this. We know the House of Representatives is also launching the Committee on Food and Nutrition. We hope that with all the right people in place, we will be able to draw down these funds. If we don't use this in Nigeria, it will go to other countries. And this is our year to draw this down. So if in Nigeria we want this to happen, today is the time. Next slide, please. So, what is our ask of legislators, leadership, and others? It's about the fastest maker first. So, please share information about the Nutrition Fund. That is the ask. It is unique, it is categorical, it is time sensitive. Our second ask is please encourage the state leadership to invest in the Child Nutrition Fund. If we don't invest, we lose the opportunity. And then it is not just about making a commitment. It is about actually ensuring that the funds are released. As you saw, it takes 5 to 6 months sometimes. But if the state takes action quickly, we can get the money released, get the match, and do the work very quickly. So that is the 3 R's. Share information, encourage the leadership to invest, and ensure the release of funds. Do you think you can do it this year? Yes? We have your commitment? Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emma, for this presentation. I think we've all seen time and again the cost effectiveness of nutrition prevention. Once we have our legislators keying into this, I strongly believe that the narratives around stunting, wasting, anemia across the country will be a thing of the past. I want to recognize the presence of USAID Nigeria Mission Director, Melissa Jones, who just walked into our midst, and also call her to the podium to come and make her keynote remark. She's here with her team. Please let's keep appreciating her as she walks on the stage.
Greetings, everyone, and I'm so sorry that I'm late. And because this day, the day where I thought I would have lots of time, I unfortunately have not. And so, distinguished guests, please let me be kind and committed to stand on existence protocol. I am so appreciative to see all of you here because nutrition is so important to all of the development work that we do in this country. And it is great to see the Nigerian press here as well. So I am honored to be here because it actually addresses such an important endeavor. The legislature's role in strengthening Nigerian nutrition landscape through enhanced advocacy and constituency oversight is in fact critical. This is a unique opportunity for us to actually engage with policymakers and frankly, to reinforce the work of all of us here to address what is so sobering, what is so challenging. The question about how do we get to 33% of childhood stunting and 12% of wasting has a long, long conversation that many of us have had in various fora. The complexities of this problem and of the challenges also requires us to have a comprehensive and complex approaches to deal with its solutions. So, this meeting, and particularly including those that are in the National Assembly, it allows us to ensure that nutrition is on the front burner. We want every child in this country to thrive. And as everyone has said, 1 in 5 Africans are Nigerian. And if you are in the global stage that you know the strength of Nigeria, to think that children could be stunted, that children could be wasting, to think that they could not achieve the educational attainment because of malnutrition is painful. What we do not want is a generation of Nigerians who are held behind because of malnutrition. So, like many of the legislators here, and we are appreciative of those who are in the room, and those across many countries, we too in the United States have really focused on global malnutrition, and our president, President Biden, recently signed the Global Malnutrition Prevention and Treatment Act in 2022. And the Congress of the United States funded USAID to work in partnership with other countries to combat malnutrition globally. Nigeria is a priority country for USAID in nutrition, water and sanitation and hygiene, and in our resilience efforts. We work across a multitude of technical areas, sectors, from peace building to education to HIV with our PEPFAR programs. But I can tell you this, that nutrition is cross-cutting. You cannot achieve any of the work that we are trying to do in development without having nutrition. So I want to just say that the coordinating minister has focused on nutrition. The government of Nigeria has focused on nutrition. The health commissioners in each state has put nutrition up front. The donors, the foundations have all put nutrition on the front burner. So the question that I have for all of you is, why aren't we seeing more improvement faster? That is what we need to do. We have to invigorate our commitment to galvanize the legislative action for food and nutrition security, and that we need to make sure, as this legislation has done, the House Committee on Nutrition and Security, is to ensure that we continue to make sure that nutrition stays on that front burner. So, agriculture is extremely important. Security is extremely important. Behavior change and be able to actually support best practices that enhance nutrition among women, infants, young children, and adolescents. Our work and the work of those who are dealing with this every day will not stop until every child is allowed to thrive. Recently, you probably heard that USAID donated 60,000 cartons of locally procured RUTF, or ready-to-use therapeutic foods, as seed stock to expand the availability and access to treatment for children wasting in Bauchi, Kemi, and Sokoto. We have provided technical assistance. We are supporting the private sector. We are also working closely with our colleagues, particularly UNICEF, who helps to co-chair the Nutrition Development Partners Group. And I must say, as UNICEF being represented here today, it is that type of leadership that we need in this space, that we appreciate UNICEF for all of its hard work in helping and supporting the government of Nigeria. So we must all work together, use the power of legislation, of innovation, and scientific evidence, and continue to make investments that are needed to ensure the next generation of children enjoy a prosperous and nutritious future. With the energy of this meeting, we are optimistic that significant improvements in health and nutrition will be realized. We cannot do this alone. No single entity can tackle the neglect that is happening for decades. It requires all of us to come together to put our children first and to work on this most important issue, and that is the nutrition of our young children. So thank you, I appreciate it, and I wish you all the best in this important meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, for the keynote remark. A very important take home for the legislators. She said we should use the power of legislation and innovation. That's a lot. That power can change a lot of things in country as far as the nutrition landscape is concerned. And it's also good that it has been re-emphasized that no single entity can tackle a neglect that has happened for decades. That addresses the multi-sectoral efforts that Nigeria has adopted to ensure that the problem of nutrition is tackled. What we have next is the presentation on the role of legislators in strengthening the nutrition landscape and call to action. I'm going to be taking this presentation. I will make it as brief as possible without losing the contents, because most of us we have in this presentation have already been said in the previous presentations, in the go-to messages, the objectives, and even in the keynote remark. We want to run through a few case studies that have happened in two different nations and how legislators were able to change things for their country. And see how we also adopt and adapt such to work for us in Nigeria. Can I have the slide up?
I'm working on it. I can't go.
I'm making this presentation on behalf of my executive secretary, Mr. Sunday. I believe he is very much basking in his goodwill at this moment. And I want us to look at this presentation and see what lies ahead of us and what we can actually achieve on this platform. We call it a ground-breaking breakfast meeting because we've succeeded in having access to this very important advocacy platform, which is going to help us in a lot of efforts coming up in the future. This is just the outline of the presentation. I'm not going to bore us with this introduction, context, role of legislators. Next slide, please. We've had a lot of data from the Ministry of Public and National Planning. They went into details, even the goodwill message from the Federal Ministry of Health. We have details of the statistics. What is happening with our children, 6 to 59 months, the exclusive breastfeeding rates, the stunting rates, prevalence of anemia among our children, and even pregnant and lactating mothers. Next slide. I've also earlier mentioned that legislators are critical stakeholders as long as nutrition is concerned because they form this important block between the executive arm of government and the grassroots. In fact, once we have this gap filled with passion for nutrition and knowledge of the nutritional issues in the country, we have most of the problems solved because we can really change a lot of things using the legislative powers. Next slide. Like I said, there's emphasis on that slide there, prevalence of anemia among children aged 6 to 59 months. If you look at the statistics from Lagos, we have about 43.3%, and we have about 90.1% in Sokoto. The same thing for prevalence of anemia among women. We have 35% in Lagos and 72% in Kano. That's the lowest range and the highest figures. But that is not to say, even from the other research that we saw, that 35% of anemia prevalence in Lagos does not mean that it is small, no. I know that some areas have this problem, but like UNICEF will say, every child matters. The life of every woman, the life of every child, the success of every pregnancy is very important across the 6 geopolitical zones. And we've also learned that Nigeria is transiting from the use of IFA, that is iron and folic acid, in the prevention of anemia, to the use of multiple micronutrient supplements. The major reason is because iron and folic acid, they tend to attack or solve the anemia that results from iron deficiencies. But remember that a pregnant woman or a lactating mother has higher energy needs, higher micronutrient needs. And IFA is not able to solve all these problems. Multiple micronutrient supplements has been made available because it contains about 15 micronutrients, including the iron. So the stakeholders in nutrition got it wise and timely. Let us not be attacking just iron deficiencies. The reason is because iodine deficiency can also affect vitamin A deficiency can affect pregnancy outcome. Vitamin B12 and others, they all can affect pregnancy outcome. And you can't be doing all this in beats for pregnant and lactating mothers. So they have these micronutrients all in the MMS. So that if we are able to shift from this strategy of using IFAD to MMS, it will be an advantage to both the generation of one and even the mothers that we have. From adolescents, some partners are even doing adolescent interventions using multiple micronutrients supplement. Next slide. On the role of legislators, I want to pick the very last point there that says the cost of action is lower than the long-term cost of inaction. We've heard here that it takes just 5,000 naira to prevent malnutrition, whereas it will cost over 50,000 to treat malnutrition. What are we saying here? The legislators can use their legislative powers as we go across the states, begging the state governors, please, can you please implement the extension of maternity leave from 3 or 4 months to 6 months for working mothers, so that we can improve the exclusive breastfeeding rates across Nigeria? It's a matter of law. If it is signed into law, every organization will be compelled to implement it. Somebody was asking me that what if private sectors will learn to be firing pregnant women? Once they see that their staff is pregnant, they will fire that one. I said, well, legislators are not that. They will also provide or see how to lock up that gap, so that the women they are seeking to protect will not also be open to another dimension of trouble. So the cost of not doing this will be more than getting these legislations in place. It will save Nigeria a lot of crises in the nutrition landscape. Next slide, please. And Nigeria is very beautiful. If you go to the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Agric, you will see a lot of policies. So we are not scared of policies. We have a lot of working tools. They are there. National Multi-Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition, National Strategic Plan of Action for Nutrition, fats, oil and foods containing fats and oil regulations. I was almost biting my dog reading that. Fats, oil, and foods containing fats and oil regulations. Food fortification regulation, national health promotion policy, national policy on infant and young child feeding, and national policy. There are many of them. Many. And recently, we are also developing the national guideline on women and girls empowerment for optimal nutrition. The government of Nigeria is trying. We have the enabling environment as long as it starts doing document development to improve nutrition and food security in Nigeria. But this is not our challenge. The challenge lies with implementation and enforcement. Next slide. Now, there are several gaps in these documents. We talked about, lack of harmonization and alignment among various policies. But these things are not what should be governing legislators. We are looking at the last one here. Provision of a legal mandate, institutional arrangements and budgetary provision for nutrition interventions. We need this legal backing. We need this voice. And you will see why when we get to the other slide. Let's see the next slide, please. I will take us through the case study. This happened in Brazil. They were also having a lot of challenges, international, they were having food and nutrition challenges. And as long as the global network is concerned now, Brazil is an international benchmark. The reason is because the legislators engaged. They fought. They have tried several means. They tried several strategies that did not work. But when the legislators rose up to this challenge, they did something. And these are some of the things that they did. Consolidated actions against hunger through food and nutrition security policy by issuing provisional measures 103 of January 1, 2003. This was one of the actions that they implemented. They created a new Ministry of Social Development and Fight Against Hunger. And in Nigeria, to ensure that nutrition still has, the problem of funding, coordination, and all that is still solved. We are enjoying the mandate of our former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who signed it and mandated ministries to establish nutrition departments. And we are happy that this has been in place in some ministries. Ministry of Health, you can see the amiable director of the Department of Nutrition sitting here in our midst. And Ministry of Agri also just got their own approval to establish a department. I think that came like 2 weeks ago. Ministry of Women and Affairs, they have an approval, though not a department, but at least thank God that they have a division of nutrition at the moment. And we hope that the coordinating ministry will follow suit, and other NGOs will also join. This is also something that they did. This policy is a technical term in Brazil. They reactivated it. Legislative action. We can look at what have been the strategies that worked in the past in Nigeria. Some of the visions that came on board that somehow by change in governance and all that, they were dropped. Such things can also be revisited. And again, in Brazil, a law was passed that made clear the access to food by all Brazilians is a human right. They passed that law. Next slide. This was the outcome. The outcomes of the action of the legislators in Brazil. A key outcome and impact of nutrition is the fact that malnutrition in Brazil decreased significantly, with the prevalence of stunting falling from 13.5% in 1996 to 7.1% in 2007. You can imagine that the prevalence of stunting was not even as high as what we have in Nigeria. We have over 35% in Nigeria, prevalence of stunting. And they had to lose sleep to go through all this to ensure that something happened. And there was a crash. It came down from 13.1% to 7.1%, just legislative action. There were strong institutional arrangements for managing zero hunger program. And the 4.0 ultimately increased access to food, strengthened family farming, linked and mobilized grassroots participation through partnerships and increased income generation. What are we talking about? Legislators have direct link to their constituencies. And anytime you call them, they will answer. I can imagine my own legislators, the legislators from my own zone, when they make the call, people answer. And we can leverage on this network, on this influence to pass across nutrition about 28 states of this country. And it's a question of, getting into discussions with whatever activity you want to do in your constituency, and it is done. Legislative actions, next slide. The Peru case, they have this multi-sectoral nutrition program. And the legislative framework supporting the program, they had to establish national nutrition strategy for poverty reduction and economic opportunities. We have related documents like this in Nigeria. Legislators play a significant role in the introduction of performance-based budgeting based on program increase and specific activities planned. And yes, the oversight function of legislators is also something that is robust enough to deliver Nigeria from the quagmire of poor accountability and all that has to do with nutrition intervention implementations. A result-based incentive for increasing regional and district participation in nutrition planning and intervention. This is what happened in Peru to ensure that things change for the better. And we already have the National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition, which we can understand to see what can we do as legislators to ensure that this document is totally and completely implemented before it expires. Next slide. These are some of the lessons learned from these two countries, especially number 2 here says value of the convergence approach, combined nutrition-specific and sensitive interventions functioning together in targeted vulnerable areas. Because the members of your constituency can actually speak through you. The kind of attention that a locality can receive when a legislator, a senator, an honorable member cries out, the kind of attention they will receive will be different from when the voices will not even be heard if you are crying from such localities. But when we are confronted with this kind of request or data coming from a particular constituency, this is what we want done. There will definitely be convergence of efforts by stakeholders to ensure that things are turned around. And like that, such pockets of activity will contribute to the national goal of reducing and solving the menace of malnutrition. Next slide. Nigeria can tailor successful models to our context. Proposals for new legislation or amendments to existing laws, and potential for public-private partnerships. These are opportunities that are open for us to grab. And it is possible. Next slide. We have to put this in this slide to draw our attention to the fact that it is possible. It is very, very possible. The 1% consolidated revenue fund, it was the Senate that intervened in this area in 2018. And this is why you see functional primary health care centers across Nigeria. But now, the functionality is not just the existence of the structures. On this platform, the government, through the Federal Ministry of Health, MPSCDA, have been able to carry on with the project of management of acute malnutrition through the primary health care center. UNICEF has supported RETF for some time and came back again with this counterpart funding. And do you know one funny thing? Once some of these supports are gone, because there's no government commitment, they just die off. I went for a monitoring assignment in Imo, one very strong primary health care center at UND. I went to see the CMAN site. it was unfortunate that as soon as the supply of RUTF ceased, the store, the center, some children just died. Because when a child is malnourished and you not get this child overdosed by drugs, before children go to the hospital to get treated. Once you see them macheted like that, they start treating malaria and all that. But a malnourished child cannot carry such infant, and they die off. A recent data from Bayelsa State during the vitamin A supplementation campaign in October last year, 4,900 children were assessed. Over 70% of those children had moderate acute malnutrition. About 24% had severe acute malnutrition. And currently, there is no functional semen center in Bayelsa State. What will happen? I'm sure between October and now, most of those farm children have died. And those of them that have man have graduated into SUNN. Because there's no RUTF. There's no government commitment to provide RUTF for these children. And this is why we feel very concerned that look at the efforts that the Senate put in having this done. You can also make it a constituency engagement to procure and supply nutrition commodities in the primary health care in your own locality to save the lives of your brothers, your little brothers, and your little sisters. The legislature can leverage on their influence to secure funding for key nutrition programs and initiatives. And we are asking, how can UNICEF say, provide 100 million? We will give you another 100 million. In fact, if you can provide 200, 500, we will give you another 500 for the children of your community. And some state governors are they're not forthcoming. We want to also use requests for your influence in this area to talk to the state governors to access this fund. Now that the opportunity is here, they can actually access it and ensure that commodities are available in those primary daycare centers. It is important to have multiple macronutrient supplements free of charge for pregnant and lactating mothers in these communities. Courtesy the legislators. Next slide. These are some of the things that we can achieve. Nutrition-related data collection and analysis are fundamental for understanding and addressing nutrition issues. Yes, we can actually pick some of these specific data. Like I just talked about, we can have some constituency-specific information on nutrition from our legislators. We would not mind going to set up some of these monitoring and feedback mechanisms to get this information from them. Next slide. Next slide. Some of the things that you can do. Next slide, please. I'm trying to. And to also lend my voice to what the stakeholders have said in the House, we are pleading with the legislators to support more allocation of funds for the implementation of the multilateral plan of action for food and nutrition. Because there is this situation that sometimes they call for budget defense, and things about nutrition are just thrown out. Because the understanding is still very minimal. Support and pass the 6-month maternity leave law to improve exclusive breastfeeding is achievable in Nigeria, and even much more. I know that we are not going to actually tell you, do this, but I believe that with all that we have heard here today, you are going to sit back and know how to draft the laws, and we are going to be seeing much outcome in the near future and soon. I feel on the executive to release allocated funds timely. Do you know that there are states where 2022 budget was released in December 2023. How do we go to achieve results? It's a problem. Money is allocated, approved, but it cannot be released. It has overwhelmed the nutrition community, and we are requesting legislators to please come to our aid. It's a problem. Beautiful work plan, annual operational plans across the states at the national level, but there's no money. The monies have been approved, but release is the problem. We don't really know how to go about this. And we are going to come back for more discussion to know and hear from you how you can commit to this. And then, leverage on the UNICEF Child Nutrition Fund to procure MMS and other nutrition commodities for the reduction of anemia in Nigeria. With this, I will say thank you for your attention. We are going to take questions, and I call on my colleague Hope to come and please facilitate this question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Please, once again, can we just appreciate one another? So for the next item on our agenda, we have question and answer. So the floor is open. Any questions? So if there's any question, just by a show of hand. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, mine is not a question per se, but more of a comment. And just to reiterate the assurance that responding to the representative of the Ministry of Public and Planning, that the members of the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, is not the deliberate efforts that they are absolutely But I'm giving the assurance that whatever we learned here today, we are taking it back to the National Assembly for us to have the possibility to facilitate what we've done. I just need to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Do we have any question? Any more question? Comment from the floor? Before we move to the next item. Any questions? Everybody clear on that? Okay, so I'll take this as yes. All right, we are going to be moving. Yes, okay. My PM is going to take the next session.
First of all, I complained to the states that they couldn't do it. It's because of the document. I don't know how the two documents.
It's just one comment that we have in the house. No comments, no support, no cheers. Somebody should tell us something, please. Mrs. Angie.
Please switch to this. No, not it. Why? Please switch. It's not saying this then.
Okay. I do not know what to say, but I think the last comment that we received was a laid a lot of cares for me, because there was no response to say why the legislators or the senators were not here after giving us their, buying the state that they want to hear. So when you read that comment, I was a little bit satisfied. And I will write on Mrs. Nelson's comment to say that we're going to come. We will march to the National Assembly to do a further engagement or increase awareness or understanding, whatever we need to do to make sure that the lives of women
and children is being safeguarded by the legislators. They are the ones that put us there. It is women that come out to vote. Women put their children on their backs and stay all through. I did that to vote for the legislators. I think it would be good enough if the legislators will one day sit and talk about the women and children that vote for them. And talking about that is by making this legislation that will end our well-being, that will improve health, that tomorrow we'll have a country where we'll be proud of the people that will represent us in the global space. We're talking about 2 million children who are scouted. This means that these children do not have a chance. Is this how we want to continue? So I want to really speak to the heart of those that are here. So please do something about it. This is not just talk. I am tired of going to meetings to say, oh, they say they used to call Nigeria walk and chop. Please let's not walk and chop. Please, I'm begging. This is our women, this is our children, this is our future. And what future do we have for our Nigeria? Please, let's make it change. Let's be the champions that will champion this cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're having comments now.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm just going to make an passionate appeal to the legislators. I know that very few of you are here, and you are representing your principals. We are just appealing that when you make the laws, as it has been said, you back it with funding. When you back it with funding, you make sure there is timely release of the funds. After timely release, you monitor the implementation and make sure the MPAs are doing the right thing. And then the reporting, so that we know exactly what has been done, and then the funds you have given, the right thing has been done. So we appeal to you, not to just hear it here and don't make it your dustbins or under your table. But in the next 1 year, we ensure when we come back to this room, we'll hear of good news and more development about nutrition in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that remark. Ministry of Women Affairs.
Good afternoon, all. I want to reflect and appreciate all the presenters for good job. And mine is just a comment. I'm wondering, this is to the legislators here present. Do we have another practical way? I mean, from your experience, do we have another practical way of reaching out to these legislators to gain their attention, apart from meeting or apart from even marching to them? Because at times you even march to them and they are not there. What other practical ways can you recommend for us to reach these legislators? Thank you.
Okay, I think we have to pause everything now to take a group photograph with the special advisor to the senior president, please. So just a few more seconds, we grab a group photograph with you. So I want to invite the partners, the ministries, the stakeholders, all of us should please come and pose for a photograph with the special advisor to the senior president.
They say that banner, project banner.
You put
That's
it
what I was
in
saying. Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, it's still show here now.
Why should change it to it?
It should come.
But it's not coming.
And it's change it, change it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's lazy, yeah.
Can we settle down? I want to tell you one very important thing that has just happened right now. The special advisor to the Senate President will give this House a date for an advocacy meeting to the Senate President. And he hopes to facilitate it to ensure that we see the key principal officers in the Senate to ensure that these messages are actually taken home. So this is a very major outcome of this meeting, and we are grateful that this has happened. Thank you very much. We are skipping the commitment from legislators because of this advocacy meeting. He strongly advised that we should do that and skip the commitment from legislators. I think we already had a group photograph. We can still take some more. The stage is beautiful for us to actually take some more. And I think I would like all the partners who want all the partners to come out and let's take another group photograph. The partners with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Women Affairs, and Budget and National Planning. It will be a brief one, please. The partners, please. Where are the cameramen?
Okay, sir.
very much. We have very critical stakeholders in our midst. The clerks, assistant directors from the National Assembly. Please, and I also want to create the indulgence of boss here, representing the honorable members, to come and also have a group photograph. We need this for proper documentation. Please, let's come and have a group photograph. Allow the Sodangi, please, can you join them? Let's have this photograph because we'll be coming to knock on your door from time to time after this meeting today. Can we please come and join them? Cameraman, please. Thank you very much. We are not taking your presence for granted because I know that so to bring this meeting to a close, please like lunch at the restaurant. You can take tea break, is still available on the lunch. Let me call Mr. Salman to please come and give a closing remark on behalf of the Office of the Senate President.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Regarding the commitment by the senators, all what we've learned here, the rest assured we take it back to the members and senators. I'm sure I'm very positive. Like we have a clerk here from the Committee, and she will testify that even the chairman Agri Committee, the chairman said Committee on Agri Production Services and Rural Development, and the last Public Defense did make a case for at least 10% budget allocation to agricultural sector in line with our declaration. So this is something we are committed to and something we will pass on the message. Give you the rest assurance that all the messages are going to be articulated and presented both to the members of the House and the Senate and the I will also help facilitate. There's no need for us to match the lectures. We will facilitate how to receive you well in collaboration with the Office of the Senate President. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I finally invite Dr. Kenneth, member, Board of Trustees, Civil Society Sector Institution in Nigeria, for a final closing remarks and appreciation to all the attendees.
Good morning, everybody. I understand that it's protocol. On behalf of CS-SUNN, we all know that such events are not easy to package, and such commitments are not easy for a big country like Nigeria. As we move out here, most of the commitments will require individual efforts to push through. I want to thank everybody who has contributed to the success of this event. Thank the leadership, everyone who have made it happen. We look forward to implementing some of the decisions we are taking here. So thank you very much. We look forward to having the National Assembly, work with more the civil society to see what we can do in our time and see that the future of this country is protected by our children who will enjoy the present and the family. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much. And this is bringing the meeting to a close. It's for lunch. Thank you very much.